We wanted to take a look back at Nintendo's past console launches to see how many games were released for each in the US and worldwide, how many of those were first-party titles, and use that info to help us get a better sense of how the Switch 2's Day 1 lineup compares to its predecessors. Starting off with the NES back in 1985, Nintendo's first console release to hit the US launched with 17 total games, 15 of which were developed internally by Nintendo, including iconic games like Duck Hunt, Excitebike, and the original Super Mario Bros. That released as a pack-in game for the console. 6 years later, in 1991, Nintendo debuted its super follow-up to the Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES. 5 games were available upon the console's release, including 3 Nintendo-developed titles: F-Zero, Pilot Wings, and another Mario pack-in game, Super Mario World. 1996 was the year of the Nintendo 64, which featured new 3D graphics, but a pretty sparse, albeit iconic, lineup of launch titles, including only Pilot Wings 64 and Super Mario 64, both developed by Nintendo. The launch of the GameCube featured more titles than the N64, with 10 third-party games and 2 coming from Nintendo themselves: Wave Race, Blue Storm, and the original Luigi's Mansion, marking 12 total titles at the console's release. Remember to tighten those wrist straps for the release of the Wii in 2006, because there are a lot of launch titles to choose from, 23 to be exact. Alongside Excite Truck, Nintendo also developed Wii Sports, perhaps their most memorable pack-in game to date. Despite featuring the largest number of launch titles so far for a Nintendo console, the Wii U's poor sales meant that not as many people chose to play the 32 games that the console launched with in 2012. And first-party games like Nintendo Land and New Super Mario Bros. U were apparently not enough to draw people in. The Switch, however, proved to be a turning point for Nintendo, helped in no small part by its hybrid functionality as a home console and mobile device, as well as the immense hype for one of its launch titles, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. 1-2-Switch, also developed by Nintendo, was there too, I guess, alongside 8 other third-party titles, marking 10 total. Finally, we come to the Switch 2, Nintendo's latest home console release, debuting with 26 games at launch, including the 2 first-party titles Nintendo Welcome Tour and the headliner Mario Kart World. At the end of the day, the value of a console is going to vary from person to person, and launch titles, first-party or not, are going to cater to different audiences. So does the Switch 2 having the second highest number of launch titles really contribute to the overall quality of the console? What about the number of launch titles that are ports or enhanced editions, circumstances that were just as prevalent at the launch of the original Switch and the Wii U? And obviously, price is a large deciding factor for any large purchase, consoles being no exception. Ultimately, the Switch 2 launch only marks the beginning of its life cycle, and if the life cycle of 2017's Switch is any indication, we've got many years to see how the Switch 2 shapes up alongside Nintendo's pantheon of home consoles.